first off, it helps out the commentators knowing who has what, and it also helps out the viewers to kind of figure out who's ahead and what the state of the race is at a glance. So thanks very much for that. Okay, we are off, ladies and gentlemen. We are skipping Sarah's station because that's how we roll in Randomizer. So this is it. Match 3, Jighart versus JanusZeal.
All right, so the beginning's pretty simple. I'm not sure if either of these runners decided to use Moonwalk. There was a quick sync up there, so you might have seen a pause on Jighart's stream. But they'll be going down. Morph Ball will be one of 2 items, and the other one is kind of a wild card. So we'll see what happens there. Jighart does get the Moonfall. Very nice. Moonfall is a fairly new technique that allows you to save about, I think, 2 to 3 seconds on the fall there. So he was able to gain a little bit of time, but in a randomizer, anything can happen. So we'll see how this progresses.
And you saw how significant that Moonfall trick was, as Jighart actually ended up passing JanusZeal on the way down and beat him down.
Yeah,
so.
It is a pretty cool trick. So Vanilla Morph Ball to start out with. They're going to go to the right, and they're going to try to get the item in the ceiling, which once again could be anything, except there are exclusions as far as suits and certain items go. Like, you will not see something like, I believe, Screw Attack or Space Jump in the ceiling due to the new changes in logic.
But it is a major item slot, correct?
It is a major item slot, correct.
Yeah. So both runners going ahead and grabbing the missiles here. Good to have early, and there have been some changes, like certain doors have been removed as missile doors to prevent soft locks in the game.
Right. So we can see that this is bombs.
Bombs, very important.
Yeah.
And power bombs.
Yeah, so power bombs and bombs, that does prevent some soft locks. So it's nice to have both power bombs and bombs. They'll be able to progress just fine. I want to point out one thing here. If you look at the top of the screen, you'll see that the icons for missiles, super missiles, and bombs do look different. So if you're confused by those at all, the bottom portion shows the current amount of any of those items they have. The top portion that's slightly grayed out shows the total amount they have. And this is good for the runners and for anyone watching, as it pretty much gives you a full idea of the totals.
Now, interestingly enough, if we notice, okay, I missed Janice actually getting the bombs up top, so thought that was going to be significant. But we do have a route diversion here. Jighart's going to drop a power bomb and go west, while Janice is going to head back up to Criteria. Jighart gets a super missile for his troubles. That is also quite significant.
Yeah, the supers are good. They're going to be useful very soon. Jighart decides not to take the route out to the left, instead decides to go back up. Now, the reason that he's probably going back up is because you have to do a lot of backtracking if you take the other route. You have to go to charge. If you go below charge, you have to go all the way back up to early supers and possibly to where the normal E-tank is going down through Terminator. So it makes things a little bit simpler just taking the normal route.
Janice doing a great job of the climb back up here. Oh, just slight mistake there, but he recovers really well.
Yeah, that was still a really nice climb.
So Jig now has 10 super missiles. The magic number for super missiles is 60.
Yeah, 60 is what will kill Mother Brain if you have 60 going into the Mother Brain 2 fight. The thing I like to go for in randomizers is just to get 25 or 30, because if you have 25 and you have some additional power bombs and missiles, you can pretty much get yourself through the Ridley fight. But Ridley dies with 30 super missiles if you can, get them all to connect during the fight.
So we will. Okay, we did not see a bomb chorizo from JanusZeal. I was correct. JanusZeal did not get the bombs. That could be extremely significant here. However, he does have 5 power bombs, so he's not completely locked out of places where bombs are needed.
Yeah. So, I mean, bombs aren't that important as long as you get enough power bombs to handle the difference. You just need to make sure you don't soft lock yourself in certain areas.
Right.
So yeah, as we did see, the X-ray scope was at Bomb Chorizo. Some people will kind of shun this as an item that is not needed, but it's actually very useful if you have charge and plasma for certain bosses, as you can use the X-ray to manipulate the damage for those bosses. And additionally, you can use it to get yourself out of some sticky situations with the stand-up glitch.
So the only difference in our routes so far is that Jighart did pick up 5 additional super missiles by power bombing to the left of Morph Ball location.
Right. And if anyone's wondering, the reason why Jighart had to phase bomb Turizo and Janice did not is because Jighart picked up the bombs. The bombs are the trigger for you to fight bomb Turizo in that instance. Alright, so we have a reserve tank at that location, which is another vanilla item. I think the 3rd one so far.
They call this.
Oh wait, they have an E-tank there. That's the 4th one. Okay, so we have 4 vanilla item locations so far. That's pretty out of the ordinary.
So as you see, Jighart, he just went ahead and opened up the door to Tourian. Can end up saving you a little bit of time later on in the run. But it's really 6 one, half dozen the other. But while you're here, why don't you just go ahead and open up that missile door?
Yeah, definitely. All right, so normally what you have is, as long as you have power bombs, you go straight down here because you have another major item below. There is also the option to grab the item in the green door afterwards, but it's going to be a minor item, so it's pretty much up to the runner if they need something extra.
So Jighart opts to also get the reserve tank. Oh, we have Wave Beam. That's significant. That can open up some gates and make them a lot easier to open rather than having to use some tricks.
Yeah, indeed, and you will see that very shortly as soon as JanusZeal gets the big pink. There is a room that you open up with 3 side hoppers in it that you would normally have to use a specific technique with supers to open, but oh man, and he actually gets out. He almost fell down, but he jumped back out. That was pretty impressive, actually.
That was, yeah, split-second reactions there. Very impressive from JanusZeal.
Yeah. So you'll see Janice go into Big Pink and open that door that I was referencing with the side hoppers really without any issue. Alright, so Jighart going through the same area now. Janice is just going to make his way through here. Not too much to talk about in this sequence. They're going to be gathering some minor items. There are definitely a few minor items to get in Big Pink here. And then you have the normal vanilla charge location and below charge, which requires speed booster, which they do not have yet.
Just super missiles down here. Let's see what major item is. It'd be very helpful if the charge beam spot was in fact the speed booster.
Yes, if you fall down to the next screen, you can't get back up. Just what Jighart did here, he actually fell down there. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or not. He may have wanted to get the item after this, so since he fell all the way down, those blocks are unbreakable on the way back up.
And this is the room you were talking about. Much easier for Janice to open this gate with the wave beam rather than having to do that specific super missile trick to open the gate.
Yeah. And an E-Tank. Now, this isn't bad getting these E-Tanks at the beginning because, you know, getting more E-Tanks at the beginning kind of gives you more options as to go to crate or to go straight up to wreck ship. The bad thing is we do want to see a suit sometime soon, or something like Speed Booster or Space Jump that allows us to progress to certain areas that we wouldn't normally be able to.
Jighart tried to mock ball there, didn't quite get it, and without mock ball, he's going to have to wall jump back up. High jump boots in a charge.
Those are another big item, because with high jump boots you can actually do a trick to get down to lower Norfair called Lava Dive. Of course he still needs Varia, but it does make it much easier than without high jump boots.
And so for the randomizer, the developers have changed the way gravity and various suits work. You could explain that for our viewers, Typo.
Oh, sure. So normally gravity has all of attributes of Varia. So if you get gravity, you don't really have to worry about heat anymore. You don't have to worry about going through, lava. But they've removed that attribute. So if you get gravity, you can still go to Maridia just fine. But if you try to go to Lower Norfair, you're still going to take damage. And if you try to go into a heated room, you're still going to take damage. So you have to be really cautious of that. And I kind of like the balance. I don't know what you think of it, Rai, but the balance really makes Varia more useful, I think.
I agree. It's because otherwise, I think the other option there would be to make them progressive.
Yeah.
Like mail upgrades in the Link to the Past randomizer, and that's a divisive issue for a lot of people as well. But I like the way they've done it here. They have balanced it out so that both suits have value.
And here you get screw attack.
And there's the screw attack. She slices, she dices, she even makes julienne fries out of space pirates.
Awesome. Yeah, so screw attack is going to be a good one once our players get into Lower Norfair. Basically, Lower Norfair is a shady area unless you have screw attack, and you basically just fly through the enemies.
And to answer a question in chat, is not having regular bombs going to be problematic at some point? It could be, but as long as the runner is careful about what rooms he goes into and is careful about the power bomb count, it's not as much of a problem as you might think.
Yeah. So rule of thumb with power bombs, if you plan on not getting bombs, you pretty much want to get 15. 15 because it makes things easy through the course of the run, but if you don't get ice, then you need to power bomb the Metroids and Tourian, and you need 3 power bombs for every room. So you need 12 total. And if you don't have 12, you need to rely on drops. So 15 is pretty much the rule of thumb there.
Janice, for a second there, I thought he was going to farm for some ammunition. Looks like he is not. He's going to head on into Kraid, see if he gets the quick kill here.
All right, so he is going to do the missile super quick kill. There is 2 different ways to do this that I know of. You can use 1 missile and 4 supers, or 2 missiles and 3 supers. We'll see what he decides to do. Gets it pretty easily. Nice. Boom.
Now, the funny thing about that, as you see here, is that if you do the quick kill on Kraid, the screen does not properly scroll, so you have to make your way to the major item without the screen scrolling, and he gets the space jump. Very, very nice. Our runners are so good at this game that they don't necessarily need the space jump all the time, but it makes things significantly easier with the space jump.
Yeah, I mean, in particular, it makes Lower Norfair a lot easier, and I definitely agree with that. There are some tricks that you have to do in Lower Norfair without space jump that can take a lot of time and can cause some frustration for some runners.
Some extra super missiles here in Kraid's hideout. Nicely done there by Janice.
Yeah, so he has 20 now, which is good. He has a pretty good amount in case he has to go to Ridley as the second boss. He probably just wants to grab 1 more pack, but with 15 missiles, 25 supers, and 10 power bombs, he should be pretty much all set for Ridley.
So here's the energy tank room in Kraid's lair. What have we here today? We have the speed booster. Very, very significant.
Right, that's huge. So as soon as he goes down that elevator, he can check out the ice room and then go straight down to Croc if he wants.
Now he can really go fast.
Indeed, it's the one thing that makes this a speedrun.
That's right. There'll be we'll see some shine sparking. Interesting that in Super Metroid, shine sparking takes health, but in Zero Mission and subsequent Metroid games, it does not.
Yeah, there were a lot of differences in what the developers decided to do there. So Jighart just barely misses that quick kill. Doesn't have too much left, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. You can see that Janice actually killed that that enemy through the wall since he has wave. Nice little feature there. Checks the item with X-ray and grabs it. His third energy tank.
You need a certain amount of life to survive Mother Brain's Rainbow Death Beam, and I can't remember exactly how much that is.
As long as you have 3 energy tanks, you're all set.
Sure.
You need 3 energy tanks. You don't actually need a suit because some versions of RBO does not get one. But if you're doing something like low ice or low speed, you can just get 3 tanks in Varia.
So Jig, having picked up his space jump and his screw attack, gonna head on out. He opts not to get the ammo upgrade.
All right, so Janice is going to check out ice. Keep in mind he's going to take damage here because he does not have any suits yet.
Jighart getting trolled just a little bit there, having a little bit of issues getting the speed booster in the wall. If I had a nickel for every time I had done that.
So there's an advantage to having high jump here. It makes it getting up to ice a little bit easier, and we'll see what it gives him here. That is just a reserve tank. Unfortunate. Yeah, without Varia, you would need 6 tanks.
That energy tank being number of required energy tanks being important because we're dealing with runners who are so good at this game that they probably wouldn't need it, except for the fact that they have to have it to survive Mother Brain's Rainbow Beam.
Now, Janice could have gone down if he had more tanks, but with only 3 and doing ice without Varia, it's a really tough thing. So he's
correct me
to go up.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Typo, but the logic will not allow the Varia suit to be locked behind heated rooms.
It could be.
Okay.
So you could have to go into Norfair for Varia, but you don't have to go into the lower Norfair for Varia.
Got it.
So it could be like, in one of the rooms offset of Bubble Mountain, but it's definitely not going to be anywhere once you get past the lava dive.
That will be extremely important for our runners here to be able to find a suit.
Yeah, so X-ray can always contain something nice. We could have gravity or Varia here. But the thing I'm worried about is Janice doesn't have much health, and he does die there to the spikes.
Oh.
And I'm not sure if he actually saved. So that
I don't know. Oh, he did, but how far back was it?
All right, so this looks like right outside a business center. So he should be fine for the most part. Yes.
Drop down.
Okay, so he's right outside a business center. He's going to go the opposite way now. He's actually going to go up to... oh, no, he's going to go Crocomire. Okay, interesting. So after going to those areas in business center, he did die going up to X-ray, and now he's decided to try out Crocomire, which is, I think, a pretty good choice. Crocomire, more often than not, don't hold me to this because I don't actually know the odds, may have something good.
It's all right. It's all right. We're commentators. We're good with anecdotal evidence rather than hard data.
Yeah, that's what I go for anyway.
All right. So Crocomire, he's interesting that he's choosing to use regular missiles rather than supers. Supers would push him back a little bit. Would push Crocomire back a little far. There he goes. There go the supers.
Yeah. So the normal missiles, if you hit one, they'll only push Croc back 1 step. If you hit a super, it pushes him back 3 steps. You'll see that some runners actually do a trick where they'll do 1 missile and 1 super, or 2 missiles and 1 super to get the most out of it.
And with
he's rewarded by
with both space jump, grapple beam not required to get that E-tank.
Yeah. All right, so Jighart actually following in the same path right now. He's going to go. I'm not sure right now, actually. Oh, okay, so he's actually going to go back down. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he just realized he went the wrong way.
Yeah, so he's going to farm for a bit and then maybe go to Croc, and he will. So both of our runners following the same path now.
And that just tells you something about this game and its difficulty, particularly when you're talking about the randomizer, because it is not at all uncommon for runners to take a death or two going through this game.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And the big thing is, if you don't get a suit early, you have to deal with these heated rooms, and that's always risky. Even if you know the strats to get through them, the simplest mistake can cost you 100, 200 health, so you have to be really careful.
Janice not quite can get up to speed. Now he does, and makes it all the way across the room. So what is at Vanilla Grapple location?
And it's Vanilla. Well, what did you expect? I don't know. I didn't. I expected probably Varia, but we got Grapple instead.
Right. So, the biggest mystery right now, where are our suits?
Yeah, so I am going to take a wild guess and say one of the suits is in the Bubble Mountain area. There are 3 major items right outside of Bubble Mountain. One is at Speed Booster, one is at where Wave normally is, and one is at where a reserve tank normally is. I think one of those locations probably contains something that one of our runners want.
I guess pretty good bet. Looks like we're about to find out, because Crocomire not too far from Bubble Mountain.
Yeah. The choice that Janice has here is either to go to Bubble Mountain or to go up to Phantoon. And on the way to Phantoon, he can always check spots like below charge and X-ray. So those are options that he needs to take into account. I'm not sure what he's going to do, but we'll see.
And he does have grapple beam, so getting up to the wrecked ship, it doesn't require nearly as difficult of a trick as it otherwise would.
It's quite easy with grapple.
To answer the question in the chat, there's not an icon on the tracker for the grapple beam because the icon's up at the top display of the game.
All right, so Janice making the decision to go up into the Bubble Mountain area. He's probably going to save right here. I mean, I would. Or not.
He says, no thanks.
Okay, all right. That's fine.
Commentator's non-curse? Oh, now he's...
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, he decides to save.
Maybe he thought better of it. And said, wait a minute, I've already died once already. Let me just go ahead and safety right here, because I just found some significant stuff since the last time, so...
He does have more health than it looks because he has 2 reserves, I believe. But I'm still always a bit worried going to these heated rooms.
Yeah, with good reason.
Yeah.
There you go. Is he going to farm? Yeah, he's going to farm here again. So each one of these brings up, what, 4 enemies? So you've got 4 possible refills every cycle.
Yeah, the calculations for what kind of items you can get gets really complicated, but in general, you're just looking for health right there.
Yeah. This is where you find the speed booster in Vanilla Metroid, and it's there's Ice Beam. That is really important.
Yeah, so that's a big one. That's gonna help. Well, since he already has speed booster, it's not gonna help so much in Maridia, but it will help in Tourian, and it will do additional damage once he gets charged, and for Red Tower as well.
But before we were interrupted by the Ice Beam, I was going to mention how that speed booster room is a fantastic example of game design, because here's the item and here's how to use it all in the same room.
Right.
Instead of having a pop-up menu like you would in today's games, it says to use the speed booster, do this. It just says here's how you use it by showing rather than telling.
Yeah, no QTEs either.
That's right. Still,
All right.
neither one of our runners has found a suit.
So Janice deciding to save again. He does still have 2 more locations off to the side. To the right, he has Wave, and to the left, he has a reserve tank. He may check one of those. My bet is still that one of those contains a suit. And please don't make fun of me if it doesn't.
Yeah, I know it says press B to speed, but it's not like a hand-holding tutorial like a lot of games today are. It looks like Janice heading over to Vanilla Wave Beam.
All right, so another reserve tank. I think he's grabbed 3 at this point.
I think so.
With the amount of reserve tanks that are out here, I'm guessing that an area like Wreck Ship may be a gold mine of items that all these guys need. Because, I don't know, just from experience of doing randos, it feels like sometimes Wreck Ship just has nothing, or it has everything, like 2 suits, plasma, charge, and you're just like, why didn't I go here in the first place?
So let me clarify something, because something was said in the chat. I do not have hate against modern games. I love modern games. As a matter of fact, I play everything on my channel, so didn't want to imply that we hate modern games. It's just that sometimes modern games can get a little bit too overbearing with the hand holding, whereas this game particularly is a fantastic example of game design. Like, if you want to study game design, this is like lesson number 1.
Also, high 5 here in the farming
Indeed.
area. Yeah, I can agree with that. If modern games had more Shack Tool, I would probably play more modern games. So Jighart going down to Wave, where Janice just came from. Janice might check out the E-tank. Sorry, not the E-tank, but the reserve tank over here. And as we all know, we kill things in games, so if more games had Shack Tool, they would be popular. I don't know what I'm talking about, never mind.
And then that would be another trolley thing if we had Varia Shock Tool again.
Oh man, I can't even start to talk about that. All right, so 25 supers for Janice, even though there's no suits. He now has a very comfortable amount of ammo to kill Ridley. So if something good did happen here, he might be able to go down to Ridley first. Or after Kraid, that is. And he gets gravity. So we did find one suit here, but it's not the one that allows him to progress downwards. It's the one that allows him to progress into Maridia.
I would surmise now that Wrecked Ship would be a great option for him.
I would say either or. You can take your chance on Maridia, or you can take your chance on Wrecked Ship. He has 25 supers, so he has more than enough ammo to take care of Phantoon and not worry about soft locking. And he can do a little bit of exploration in there if he wants, but I kind of agree with you, Ryu, that Wrecked Ship might be a good idea, because when you're going through Maridia, you're always thinking, is there something at Plasma that I need? Is there something at the Sandpit I need? And is there something after Shack Tool that I need? Which is all very time-consuming.
Oh, he's got to be careful here. Oh, his reserve tank's just kicked in.
Yeah. Alright, so Jigart picks up gravity as well.
It looks like Janice thought about saving there, but said, nope, I'll save somewhere else.
Right, Jighart getting dangerously low on health here. He does not have any reserves. He needs to get out of this room very quickly.
And,
barely makes it with 10 energy.
Wow.
So what he needs to do here is farm these enemies, so he can get enough energy to go farm more enemies in a different room. In a heated room, that is. He just needs to be a little
There
bit...
he goes.
Oh!
There's the crystal flash.
He decides to do a crystal flash. Even better. All right. That actually surprised me. I wouldn't even think of doing that. You know, that was awesome.
Yeah, the secret technique of Super Metroid. Neither the game nor the manual ever tells you how to do it, but the game's attract mode shows you that it's possible, which is very interesting.
Yeah. It's kind of something that you just see, but you need to figure out for yourself. Alright, so Janice has decided to go on the Maridia. The first thing he's checking is the easiest thing to check as you go in. Mama Turtle. We'll see if there's anything good there. It's simply an E-Tank, but he could use another, so he'll grab that.
Let's see, it looks like Jighart as well is going to cut through Maridia here. So not too much route divergence between our runners here.
But it actually makes it quite a close match. They both have very similar loadouts here. So they do have an option to go to Phantoon or to check the left sandpit early. Left sandpit is always something you can come back to. It looks like, it looks like Janice is going to get some extra ammo here now.
Janice not bothering to pick up those extra normal missiles, and can't really blame him. And Janice says, yep, I'm going to save here.
So, Phantoon has 3,000 health. A single super does 300 damage to Phantoon. So, if he unloads 10 supers successfully, he will have killed Phantoon. Now, the problem with Phantoon is the hitboxes on this boss are a little wonky, and I've always had a problem with him. I'm sure other people who have played this game also have issues with him.
Without a doubt. But, you know, imagine wonky hitboxes on a 16-bit Super NES game? Say it isn't so.
Yeah.
That was kind of redundant to say 16-bit Super NES, but you guys get what I meant.
So whenever Phantoon sticks his head out like that, he kind of wastes time in terms of a speed run, but I'm kind of comfortable with that as far as a randomizer goes. And Janice was able to make quick work there. And he grabbed another E-Tank.
Gotta think that's more than enough for Janice to beat the game now.
Oh yeah, I mean the big thing is Janice does have 3 reserves I think at this point, so he should be all set. Jighart taking on Phantoon here. He hasn't been getting too many of his supers off here, so he has to be kind of careful. But he does have an additional 12 missiles. Although I never was a big fan of trying to kill Phantoon with missiles.
Now, one thing that should be in our runners' minds right now is that neither one of them has the charge beam, which means they need to have ammo for Tourian.
They do.
And
the big thing is there's still some places to be explored in Maridia, and Wreck Ship, and definitely Lower Norfair. So hopefully they find that. But if they don't, if you wanted to, explain how that works if they don't have charge.
One more important thing is it looks like Jighart just took a death on Phantoon. Hate to see that kind of thing happen, but it can happen any time in Super Metroid, particularly when they do not have the Varia.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a big issue. I've had that happen to me a ton of times on Phantoon. It just is really hard to get all those supers off, and if you have a limited amount, you can soft lock without any kind of issue because those missiles and those supers just kind of dissolve into parts of Phantoon that you can't do any damage to.
Yeah, Jighart took a lack of ammo. Yes, that's more accurate than what I said, but the effect is still the same. And you gotta love the grapple kill on Draygon.
Yeah, that's the basic kill that I mean, you pretty much learn it when you first learn the game. If you have grapple at that point, you can kill Draygon pretty easily, and it's just really effective.
Fried shrimp tonight, baby. That's
Indeed.
right.
And Spazer.
And there's the Spazer.
So Spazer is not a beam that some people will pick up, but it does increase your damage output, so I don't see any reason not to.
Particularly not in a room you're gonna go into anyway, because it is a major item location. I think it's probably worth the 7-second fanfare for the Spazer.
Yeah, I would grab it because, you know, especially if I have no idea where plasma is.
But anyway, we were discussing the importance of charge beam, and if you do not have all 60 super missiles and you run out of regular missiles on Mother Brain, you can destroy Mother Brain with charge shots. But if you don't have the charge shots, your ammunition count is massively important before you go up to Mother Brain.
Indeed, and you need to make sure that you have the ammo to get through the Zebs and through Mother Brain 1 before you get to Mother Brain 2. So, arriving at Mother Brain 2, you need to deal 1,800 damage to her. So you need 60 supers or some combination of other items, missiles and supers to get that damage done. Alright, so Janice is checking left sandpit. I am going to take a 70% guess here and say that charge is here. I don't know.
Shall see. And it is...
Spring ball? Was it a spring ball?
I think so.
Did it?
Yep.
Yep, it is. Right. So he decides that... I think he wants it.
Yeah, I think so too.
He didn't pick up bombs, so I can understand that.
Ooh, getting trolled by the blocks and just decides, nope, not gonna do it.
Yeah. Alright, so we will see what's on the pedestal here.
Shack tool height. Yeah. That's right.
So he has grapple, makes this room pretty easy. However, the huge time waste here is going all the way out here and then having to deal with Shack Tool, who just kind of does his work very slowly.
Yes.
It's a very meditative room, I guess you'd call it.
It's good. Sit down, make a cappuccino.
Just wait for the gears to be in motion. I don't know what else to say.
Take a sip. Contemplate the universe. Yep. It's Shack Tool, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Removing blocks of sand from the room.
Still can't for the life of me figure out why Samus, with all of these weapons of destruction at her fingertips, cannot destroy these blocks of sand.
That's actually a really good point that I have not thought of. Thank you for bringing that up.
She can't powerbomb this stuff?
Yeah.
That's right. He cares not for your speed runs.
And, well, that is definitely not a required item, but it will help Janice out later. So, not a bad thing to get. However, that was quite a detour for Plasma.
Yeah, definitely not required, but definitely makes a lot of enemies a whole lot easier.
Yeah, he's going to have an easier Ridley fight. He's going to have an easier Mother Brain 2 fight. And since he has X-Ray, he's going to have an easier Phantoon fight if he chooses to.
Okay. He just turned off Gravity Suit, I think, to slow down his descent so that he could make that essentially morph ball jump without regular bombs.
Yeah, exactly.
And See, Jighart does pick up the spring ball, so will Jighart go to Shack Tool, or is he going to go down the other way?
Now, keep in mind, we have not seen what's at Plasma yet, so it looks like Janice is going to check that out right now.
And yep, looks like Jighart is going to be heading to Shack Tool as well. The plasma room is also one of the rooms in which you can soft lock yourself. If you do not, go ahead.
You do have a bunch of options, especially since they have screw attack now. They can just screw attack these enemies, but you can also do a pseudo screw on them, as far as I remember.
E-tank at plasma, so the Varia remains elusive in this run, but I think you called it when we first started talking about Varia, Typo. It's got to be a wrecked ship.
I would imagine it is. I might even say that Varia is at gravity.
Gutsy call.
It is. Yeah, what Mumu said for Plasma Room, Plasma, Screw, Pseudo Screw, Speed, and Speed Echoes. You do have a lot of options there, although doing the speed attacks can be kind of tricky.
You see how much easier the getting Plasma Beam in the Spring Ball location was for Jighart since he had the Spring Ball already.
Yeah, just a tribute to how good that item is. Alright, so Janice is actually taking Forgotten Highway here. If you don't have gravity, this could be about the same speed. If you do have gravity, this is actually slower.
So Forgotten Highway into the wrecked ship. And luckily for our runners, this seed is not forcing them to go to the Graveyard of Empires, aka Phantoon. Early in this run, they have plenty of ammunition and health for the Phantoon fight.
No worries about Phantoon here. Normally, if you go into Phantoon early without any suits, you can take a lot of damage from the flames and from Phantoon. So if you go in with 2 or 3 energy tanks and you have no suits, it's almost ridiculous how much damage you can take in such a short period of time because of all those flames, mostly.
Took out 3 of the 4 racers at SGDQ this year.
Yeah, indeed. Alright, so you can see that the Spiky Death Room is not the Spiky Death Room right now, since the wrecked ship is still asleep. So Janice making it through without getting any cuts or bruises. Yeah, it was actually 2 of 3. There were only 3 runners this time. It was a little bit different than previous years.
I thought it was 3 out of 4. Oh. Okay. Yeah, well. Let's put it this way. Only 1 survived Phantoon.
Yeah.
How's that?
Alright, so Janice now in Phantoon's room. If Janice had charge, he still would not want to use charge shots against Phantoon because Phantoon disappears pretty quickly if you fire too much damage at him with charge. Also, if you fire supers at him, as you might know, it enrages him. But that's mostly just a time waste if you have screw attack.
Right.
Because you can just screw attack through the flames. It's a fast ball. Jighart also opting to take the Forgotten Highway route. It's a disappearing Phantoon there. Now, the big thing is, if Janice only had charge here, he could actually do a one-round Phantoon with X-Ray, where he would let go of a charge beam, and as Phantoon is approaching, he would use X-Ray to do 2, 3, 4 shots of damage at once.
X-Ray being one of the hidden beam combos in this game.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Yeah, that finishes Phantoon. That is the third boss for Janice. All he needs to do is go down to Ridley, but he has some item collection to do beforehand. I am pretty sure we're going to find Varia here, but don't forget, I believe it can be below charge. So that is another location that none of the runners have checked, because at that point in time, none of them had Speed Booster.
That's correct. Now, it is possible to complete this without the Varia, but I don't think either one of our runners really wants to do that, because it is extremely risky.
Yeah, to do that, you would need a lot of health. You would need a lot of ammo to correctly set off crystal flashes, and you would probably need experience with getting through lower Norfair and killing Ridley. And it's simply another E-Tank here. So we still have 3 more locations as we're leaving Wreck Ship. We do have the area that Janice just came in through. We have the area above bowling, and we have the gravity area. Now, my guess initially was that Varia would be a gravity, but feel free to make some guesses here if you wish.
No, I was with you from the beginning on that one, man.
I just pulled that out of a hat, so I have no idea.
Yeah, but you pulled it out of your hat so early in the run that I think you got to stick with it. I think you're right. We're running out of locations where it could actually be. There's another energy tank there, and it's vanilla location.
Indeed. So we're getting a lot of E-Tanks here. We see that Janice already has 8. Janice actually has 8 E-Tanks and I think 3 reserves, so he has a load of energy in general for Lord Norfair and Tourian. Jighart about to clean up Phantoon here. Just needs a few more shots.
He didn't get them there. I don't know why he didn't get them there. I thought he had fired in time, but
yeah, sometimes Phantoon does a fast eye close, which causes him to basically disappear off the screen very quickly.
And there it is. Phantoon has fallen.
Alright, so congrats to Jighart. He has also finished off 3 bosses, and this is still a very close race, all things considered.
Absolutely, and again, we are still Varia-less, and if it continues that way, it will be completely anyone's game. Sorry, I got a little tongue-tied there, but there will be many chances for either one of our runners to die in lower Norfair specifically if we do not find the Varia.
Yeah. Alright, so Janice has 2 things to check here. He's going to check the area that normally had a reserve tank, and that is above bowling. And then he's going to check gravity. And hopefully one of those gives the runners what they need so that they can advance. They are basically in go mode after that, except for charge. And you can be in go mode without charge, you just need enough ammo to...
Right. Alright, so it's Samus's going to be carried through here. Jighart heads up the newly reactivated wrecked ship. When this Chozo statue carries Samus, I keep waiting for the Chozo statue to just pull back and bowl Samus and roll a strike.
I always wanted that to happen. Maybe there's a hack somewhere where it actually does happen.
Gotta be.
Yeah. All right, the suspense is killing me right now.
I
have to
know.
what's here. It's like you have the beginning here, and it's just a missile. And you're like, oh my god! I just want to get up there so I can see what's up there.
And Janice just completely ignores those missiles, says, I don't need any more.
And it's an E-tank. So where is... Well, let's talk about where charge is first, because Varia could be right around the corner. So let's wait these few seconds and...
There's charge.
Nice, okay. So that is a big thing, getting charge there. However, Varia is still somewhere. Did any of our runners check X-ray? I know one attempted to and died on the way. Did the other one? I actually cannot remember.
I don't believe that they did. I don't believe that either one of our runners made it all the way to X-ray.
Okay.
So it's either below charge or it's or X-ray for Varia. I think that's the only places that are left.
Yeah, I don't believe Varia can be at Gauntlet. I don't think a suit can be there, unless the logic is different than I assume. So I would think, yeah, it's either below the vanilla charge location or it's at X-ray.
I freely admit my ignorance. Is there a reason why Varia couldn't be behind Gauntlet?
I think it's just in general for the progression of the game, so that you don't get all the, like 1 or 2 suits right away. Because you could theoretically get Varia at Gauntlet, and then you could get Gravity below charge, and then it's kind of like, oh, I already have everything.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. A lot of times when you have an item randomizer, regardless of the game, there's certain things that at first seem counterintuitive, but you understand that if you allow this item to be at this location, you could set up a soft lock, etc., etc., etc.
All right. So Mumu is saying Varia can't be in Blue Brinstar. So I suppose it could be in Criteria. Janice doing a nice K-go through there.
There's the Varia.
There it is. All right. So it was right there the entire time. And that gives Janice a nice advantage because Jighart now can decide where he wants to go.
Bingo! That's right.
Now, Janice is in go mode. He has all the beams. He is going to deliver massive damage to Ridley. He is going to deliver massive damage to Mother Brain 2. He has a lot of health. I don't see anything he needs to worry about. It's just a boss rush at this point.
That's right. As the chat says, it's a no-go without Spring Ball.
Yeah. He does not have bombs. He will need to make sure he has ample power bombs for a lot of these locations. But in general, you can get power bombs at a lot of places. Namely, as you're going into Low Norfair, you can also get them in the Fire Flea room. And you can pick them up while farming for Ridley as well.
So it looks like Jighart is going to head up to Gauntlet, unless he's doing a trick that I don't know.
So this trick, what is it? Sorry, what it is exactly is it's a wraparound trick where you fire and you open the door from across the map. The door being the door to the Gauntlet, and then you just do a shine spark through and go straight through the door and go straight through Gauntlet. So if he got it, the door's gonna be open, and it was not. But normally it would be open, and he would just shine spark through all the way to the end.
This is not going to work out for Jighart. He could find something, but it's not going to be what he's looking for. And the tragedy of that is that Jighart was in X-ray room earlier, but he took a death.
Yeah.
So he was right there, could have had the Varia suit much earlier in the game, but unfortunately took a death there and decided not to go back.
Yeah, death is a tough mistress. Sometimes you decide to take a different route after it happens.
You wonder if that would have been how significant that would have been in the race had he gotten Varia at that point.
Yeah, it could have been the equalizer, basically.
Yep.
All right, so Janice heading down to Lower Norfair now.
And because of that, Janice has quite a significant lead at this point.
So in terms of your power bomb count here, he has 10, which is perfectly fine. Just needs to remember that in all the areas that you need to use bombs in Lower Norfair, which is a fairly significant amount going down to Ridley, you need to replace that with power bombs. Also, there is no reason for Janice to do Green Gate Glitch and go down to the Screw Attack area. I can't imagine anything being there that he would want.
No, not. I mean, you look at the item tracker. We know where the bombs and the spring ball are, so
yep.
He's got plenty of energy.
Tank. Like the final reserve tank or something.
What is the max super missiles from the original typo? Was it 75, 80?
I believe it was either 50 or 55.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Helios says 50. I'll trust him on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for this rando, it's 70 because of the practical, or because of the possible position of Charge Beam. Basically, the developers of the rando want you to be able to complete the seed without getting charge.
Right. And otherwise, it would allow Charge Beam to completely troll runners in probably a significant number of seeds.
Yeah. Alright, so Jighart is paused here. I'm not sure if he had to attend to something.
Let's check. Let me check the SRL. Nope, he hasn't mentioned anything. He might be sitting down thinking, wait a minute, where did I go? What is left? Because he might be thinking, because he was in the room already, he might be thinking that he already checked X-ray.
So the big thing is, you know, sometimes you get yourself into a situation where there's only about 4 or 5 more places that you need to check, but you need to get yourself organized for these. So might just be writing things down, might just be trying to think about the places that needs to go and organize his routing for that. Sometimes it's not bad to take 10, 15, 20 seconds and just decide what you want to do.
Not at all. So I've found that myself. I mean, again, I've not played. I'm not good enough to play a Super Metroid Randomizer, but I know in Zelda Randomizer, a lot of times you stop and you're like, "Oh my God, where haven't I gone? I thought I've checked everything."
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. So Janice in the Ridley fight now. He needs 20 charge shots with Plasma Ice Wave.
Yeah, having all the beams is a significant boon here and allows him not to spend much, if any, ammo. And you see Jighart firing some ordnance at the Varia suit. And a rare Pepe makes an appearance.
I've definitely gotten Varia in that location before. Sometimes it's easy to get to, other times you don't get Grapple or Space Jump until late, and I can understand that feeling.
Akin to the frustration swipes in Link to the Past Rando.
So Janice getting close here. He's definitely pretty angry. He only needs a few more shots.
Getting picked up by Ridley a lot. Though many times that's really hard to avoid.
Yeah, you gotta be really careful. Usually when Ridley is swooping, you want to do just jump shots like Janice is doing. Yeah, Ridley's dead now, so he can just wait and wait for Ridley to pick him up. There we go. But generally when Ridley is pogoing, you want to try to get him into one corner, the right corner, roll underneath him, shoot him while being, I believe, halfway above him, and then go to the left corner. and that will cause him to rotate, and you can just keep doing that until he decides to stop pogoing and start swooping.
Janice doesn't pick up all the ammo in Ridley's room, and obviously does not run into the energy tank room because he's got pretty much everything he needs right now.
So I am a little bit concerned about Janice's health here. However, I think if he still has 3 full reserve tanks, he doesn't have anything to worry about.
I think you are correct. Plus, there's always the energy recharge station in Tourian.
Right.
We are in the last section of the run for Janice. But I'm sure stranger things have happened before.
Oh, I can tell you some stories. I will not. Alright, so Jighart making his way down to the lower Norfair. Janice basically is on a beeline to Tourian at this point, so he doesn't have much to do. Just has to make his way down to the baby after going through the Metroid rooms. Right now he has a clear advantage, but as Ryu said, anything can happen.
He certainly is playing it fast and loose with his health right now. I mean, yes, you're right. He does have reserve tanks, but
yeah, as soon as those trigger, we'll get an idea of what's going on. And actually, they probably won't because he has 107. So yeah, he's all set.
as you mentioned, he's just gonna make a beeline here to Tourian. Nice mock ball to maintain the speed.
Yeah, considering all the locations that the runners had to go to for this, it was a pretty nice time. They covered a lot of ground in this.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, there's always going to be a certain amount that you have to cover because this is a category where all bosses are required. So,
of course, but they went through a lot of Maridia.
True.
We saw Plasma, we saw Shacktool, of course, and we saw Left Sandpit as well.
I mean, why wouldn't you see Shacktool though?
I'm sorry, but in most randos, if I have to go to Shacktool, I'm just going to get a little bit irked. Like, not quite angry, but just a little irked. Jighart doing some moonwalk strats on the pirates there before he makes his way to Ridley.
And from what I am to understand, that using moonwalk in the options menu is a relatively new strat to Super Metroid running.
It is, yes. It was found recently. I believe it was found by Snick when he was working on a few things for TASes, and he figured out that, yeah, I mean, falling with a combination of inputs and moonwalk actually allows you to break the barrier of speed that Samus can fall at, if I'm saying it correctly.
Thank you, Varia. Basically, I think the programmers originally programmed in a terminal velocity of sorts for Samus, but I think the trick obviously allows you to break that. Does moonwalking also not help you short charge a speed booster as well?
I would have no idea about that. To be honest, I am not too educated on moonwalk. After it came out, I messed around with it for about 20 minutes, kind of figured out how the thing in the climb worked, and then said, all right, I might use this sometime in the future, but further than that, I never really went into it.
There we go. Janice taking advantage of the full heal and full recharge from the ship.
Yeah, and Jighart finishing off Ridley.
pretty nice Ridley fight from Jighart too. He took Ridley down, I think, significantly faster than Janice did.
Yeah, has a lot of health left. He is in an extremely comfortable position leaving Lord Norfair. So Straveris giving us some info here in the chat.
Dropping the knowledge in the chat.
Indeed.
Thank you, Stray.
Alright, so Janice is officially in Tourian. He has ice, he basically has everything. So
yeah.
There's nothing weird that's gonna go on here. He can do whatever normal strats he wants to do. Now he does have, he has screw attack on, so the Metroids will bounce off of him if he tries to grip them.
There you go. He's got a twofer there with the Metroids. Nice.
We'll see how he handles this third room while Jighart makes his way up the Firefly escape.
Oh, very nice. And yes, well done. I don't think he was trying to fall into the lava there, but it's very nice. Is he going to get a triple here? Yes! 3 for the price of 1.
Alright, so Janice heading to Baby. We'll see if he attempts to do the skip. Jighart makes it through the Three Musketeers room without any issue. Now, me personally, I don't know how to do the skip. I've never learned. I actually know nothing about it. But I'm always impressed when I see it.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
It looks like he's not going to do the baby skip because he just turned off Varia and gravity, so he's just going to let the baby chomp down on him.
You can either run away from the baby and let the baby grab you, or you can let the baby grab you immediately. However, he is facing right, which means he saves a significant amount of frames since he doesn't get the slim up animation.
So the baby skip is just a matter of timing jumps and getting the baby in a, as it does its circular pattern around you, kind of jumping through the circular pattern. The problem is that it's incredibly difficult to do, and of course, if you screw up I think you need 3 or 4 jumps to get it right. But if you screw it up, you've just added additional time that the baby's going to be chomping on you.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some strats that use, 6 or 7 jumps to make it easier, but in general, if you mess it up at the end of 6 or 7 jumps, you've already wasted a significant amount of time.
It's a Zipatite skip here.
Now, I've always had a problem with this, with screw attack on. I'm not sure if it makes a difference or if it's like a placebo, but I want to see how Janice handles this.
Nope.
Does not get through yet.
Not yet. It's nice that you have the ability to just walk back through the door and reset this.
Indeed, yeah. There are some additional ways you can get through here. There's a down back method, and there's also a speed booster method where you do a shine spark into the bottom of the Zebs.
I thought he had it there just a second ago, but...
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say 100% because I don't know the part about screw attack completely, but... yeah. Okay, he took off screw attack.
Yeah, there we go. Turned off the screw attack.
Right.
But he didn't get it that time. This is allowing Jighart to catch up, but I don't think Janice is going to be here long enough to make this a race. Although
This trick is difficult, but this trick is necessary because without it, he does not have enough ammunition to destroy all the Zebatites and kill Mother Brain 1, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Charge Beam does not work on Mother Brain 1.
He actually does, believe it or not,
Okay.
because each Zebbatite takes 4 supers, so 16 in total, which will leave him with 11 supers and 20 missiles. However, he needs to make sure that he doesn't hit any Zebs with the supers, or basically miss any, hit any Rinkas with the supers, or miss any Zebs. But he makes it through anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Okay, there he goes. He did not turn Screw Attack back on, which could help with all these Rinkas, but... Alright, there we go. Mother Brain 1 down.
Nice. And Jighart going through the first room of Metroids. So still, even though these runners have separated themselves, this is still a fairly close race.
Without a doubt. I mean, you're looking at, there's probably going to be a difference of less than 10 minutes over, you know, an hour and 15-minute run.
Yeah.
That's close. It doesn't seem close because
It does take ketchup to the face right there. Has to be a little bit careful. Keep in mind he does still have those reserves, and he's just fine.
And here comes Rainbow Death Beam.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if he actually had enough in the reserves to do stand-up. Either way, it wouldn't make more than, I think, 15 seconds of difference. So it's not a huge time loss. Jighart coming up to baby here.
Yeah, we're going to have a baby high five going on over here. We're going to have a baby on the screen at the same time in 2 different locations.
Sadly, the baby on Janice's screen is not as happy as the baby on Jighart's screen.
No, not at all. It's about to be much, much less happy.
Yeah.
After Other M, though, I thought I would get constantly sick of hearing the term "the baby."
I have to admit that I have not played that game.
You're probably better off for not having done so.
Okay. I'm sure there are fans out there, though. Alright, so Jighart refills, and he will go down and attempt the same Zeb skip that Janice just did.
Alright, so it is bobblehead Mother Brain time with the... So now Samus has the Rainbow Death Beam.
Right. So Janice is doing a lag corner strat, which is what I used to do before I learned some of the more proper strats. You basically just sit in the corner and fire at Mother Brain. It does take a little bit longer because it increases the lag in the game and the time it takes the beam to travel to Mother Brain's head. The other option you can do is you can actually jump up and down right in front of Mother Brain's head and get 2 shots off while you're in the upward motion and 2 shots off while you're in the downward motion.
Oh, nice strat there from Jighart. Just getting in the Mother Brain capsule there. Janice in the escape. This one is pretty much academic from here on out.
Yeah, nothing too special here. The only difference would be if they didn't have speed, but they both do, so very basic escape.
So, yeah, I am generally a fan of saving the animals, but not in this category. So, I very seriously doubt Janice will be saving the animals.
Yeah, I mean, generally, you want to take every time advantage you have. If you want to save the animals, it's up to you, but I have a feeling that even if he tries to save them, he won't be able to. Just a hunch.
Oh yeah, he's out of power bombs.
All right, so you see Jighart is actually doing the stand-up glitch here. You see he's jumping in midair. He wants to do this because if he does not jump in midair during a certain point when the baby detaches its head from mother brain, he's basically going to go ice skating. So he wants to stay in the air for a certain period of time.
And ladies and gentlemen, congrats to JanusZeal. He has won 2 out of 3 against Jighart. He finishes this race with an official speedruns live time of 1 hour, 15 minutes, 17 seconds. GG's to JanusZeal. He will advance to the next round, but I know I sound like a broken record if you've listened to me do commentary before, but Jighart has absolutely nothing to be ashamed of here. Did a great job in this race. The one real mistake, and it's only a mistake because of what item was behind X-Ray, but when he died on X-Ray, he did not go back, and that happened to be where the Varia suit was located. We got a little bit of a glitch-looking Samus here on Jighart's screen right now.
It's one of the cool things you can do if you do a stand-up glitch. You can just stay in the corner and get that. But yeah, congratulations to Janice. I was really hyped to see this race, and I'm glad that it was so close. That's awesome. Good game to both of the players.
Without a doubt. Amazing to watch. Honor to commentate, as always, for me. I'm very much more appreciative of the opportunity to commentate because I am not I'm not a participant. I'm not a speedrunner. I just really appreciate what all of you guys are doing here. It's amazing to watch. I'm glad that I'm able to call it.
Oh yeah, definitely. We are glad to have you here.
And now here's the thing. Jighart knows that he's lost, so will he go ahead and save the animals? He has standard bombs, so...
Oh, missing Behemoth Spark by a bit. He will either have to respark or decide to wall jump up. He does respark. And yeah, as Ryu said, where will he go? Looks like he uses X-ray to look for the animals, then kill them, and then go to the ship, which is an interesting parting gift as he leaves Zeves. So,
Jighart will finish with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, 3 seconds. So just a little under 3 minutes separating our runners. So, yeah, absolutely a close race. Again, amazing to watch. I think the deciding factor indeed was the death on X-Ray.
Yep. Yeah. Always tough. Like going into that room with low health is issues. So, interesting to see that divergence after the death and what happened as a result of it.
Yep. Jighart says it in the chat, says second race in a row where Varia is the absolute last spot. Yeah. Was it Jighart earlier that we had the Varia at behind Shack Tool?
Was it really?
I don't know. I was asking.
Oh no. I actually can't remember the racers that had Varia behind Tool. I was kind of watching off to the side while it was happening. But yeah, that was a very interesting race. Alright, I'm gonna bring up some stuff here really quickly.
Sure, go right ahead. But ladies and gentlemen, there is much, much more Super Metroid Item Randomizer Tournament coming your way today. So, yeah. And tomorrow, for that matter. As a matter of fact, I will return later on this evening, starting at midnight Eastern Time, to commentate
matches between Quickie, Mart, and Lincoln It Up. They will play all 3, if necessary, matches beginning at midnight tonight. But before that, we have, let's see, I'm trying to do calculations in my head right now from starting at 7 p.m. Okay, going on right now then, or right after us, will be Balthazar and Unafraid Zio. They will do their first match, it looks like, on Speed Gaming 2, but then follow it up on the original Speed Gaming at 8:30 and 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So.
Yep. And then after that, as Ryu said, he'll be... And in terms of the challenge bracket, if I can bring this up real quick, give me a second. Let's see. Super Metroid Item Random Tournament. I'm gonna try to find our 2 runners here so I can figure out how they're advancing here. So Jighart and JanusZeal. JanusZeal is going to be going up against Ivan in the next round, so that will be a tough match for Janice. I wish him the best of luck there. Yeah, but be sure to check out the rest of the matches tonight and tomorrow and through the rest of the weeks that are upcoming. And I think that's it for us, right?
I believe so. So everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to follow these 2 runners, Jighart and JanusZeal. Follow Speed Gaming, follow Speed Gaming 2, follow Speedruns Live for more, not just Super Metroid Item Randomizer Tournament, but lots and lots of speed running from games across all gaming generations. If you like games, I'm sure you will find a speed run that is to your liking on these channels. So I have been Phantom Ryu, along with Typo here. Thank you for watching, and we will see you all next mission.
Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.
All right, so we are about to get started between our race between Balthazar and Unafraid Zero. I am Shy Guy, and with me we have Card Weaver.
Hello.
And you are stuck with us, unfortunately, so sorry about that. Anyway, so we've got Randomizer tournament. If you're not familiar with randomizers, you're about to be. And if you are, this is maybe slightly different than maybe what you were expecting. Some of the basics of this randomizer are the major items and energy tanks are sort of in their own group. And it actually looks like we are getting started here.